Hi everyone, today I'm going to be doing my December wrap up and my January TBR. But before I get on to the books, I'd like to say I hope everyone had a nice Christmas and did something fun for New Year's. So, on to the books I read in December. The first book was the third in a trilogy, and that is Acceptance by Jeff Vandermeer. As you know, I had previously read the other two, one in October, one in November, and I really liked the first one. The second was slightly, I wouldn't say let down, but it weren't quite as good as the first. This is nearly as good as the first one again. Annihilation, the first, is still the best, but this is pretty close, so I did really enjoy this. It's a weird science fiction, sort of psychological horror, I think you'd class it as. And although it's really weird, I liked it. I have done written reviews on Goodreads for these if you are interested. I'm not going to do a video review though. The next books I read, it was a good month by the way, were the first three books in a set of 4. And that is the Cattails of the Cattails. And that is these 3 by Chris Wooding. It starts off with Retribution Falls. Then it is The Black Long Captain. And then it is The Iron Jackal. And there is a 4th one, which I haven't read yet. I loved these books so badly. Quite simply, if you've watched Joss Whedon's Firefly, these have a similar feel to them, I think. To me, each book is almost like an entire series by itself, Firefly. It's got that same sort of feel to it. It's steampunk, about a crew on board the ship Cattails, and I gave all 3 of them 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and quite simply, they are brilliant. They will be on my list of all-time favourite books, and they were suggested to me, and indeed I read them because of Estelle from Alderman Tie. So, thanks Estelle. These were works of genius, quite simply. The next 3 books I read were slightly unusual for me, as I normally read science fiction and fantasy, as you probably realised by now. These were actually YA dystopian, and they are the Maze Runner trilogy by James Dashner, which starts off with the Maze Runner, obviously, then Scorched Tiles, and finally the Death Cure. Yeah, these were quite the opposite of the previous 3 books I've just mentioned. I gave all 3 of these 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. They didn't work for me, quite simply, in any way. The plot I found to be fairly dull. The character development was limited at best, and I just didn't enjoy them. I only really read the second and third ones because I read the first one and I wanted to complete them. And to be honest, yeah, I'm not impressed, and I will probably never reread them. Well, I know I'll never reread them, to be brutally honest. It's nothing against YA as a genre, by the way, but YA books, as a rule, I haven't found work for me. Just one of those things. And finally, the last book I read of the month, which is the 8th book, and that is Theyll See by China Mieville. Now, the first book I read of 2014 was one of his books. So my idea was I wanted the last book of the year to be one of these as well. And I've managed it. Yet again, I've given him 5 out of 5 stars. I'm going to be doing a full video review of this within a few weeks. So I'm not going to say too much more other than this was brilliant, quite simply. So that's it for the books I've read in December. Now on to the books I will be reading in January. January is a bit ambitious, maybe, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. We'll see. So, the first book I'm going to be reading is the 4th book in the KJ series, and the final book, The Ace of Schools. Personally, I already expect that I'm going to be giving this 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. The other 3 got 5 out of 5, so I can't think why this wouldn't. I love these books really badly, as I've just said. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I'm not going to say any more because you probably got my enthusiasm for these books a few minutes ago. The next 2 books I'm going to be reading in January are 2 books by Dan Simmons, and that is Endermion and The Rise of Endermion. These are the third and fourth books respectively in the Hyperion Cattails series. I've read the previous two, which are just out of shop there a few months ago, and I loved them. They were epic science fiction, you know, a space opera with some brilliant ideas, and I am basically dying to read these two books. The Rise is part of a buddy read. This should have been a buddy read for December, but I never ended up getting round to it, so I'll read it in January instead. The remaining books I'm going to be talking to you about, I don't have physical copies of. They're all either on order or ebook versions, and the first of which is The Stand by Stephen King. In my case, I bought it on Kindle due to the sheer size of the book. This is a book that is very well liked, and it is considered one of his better novels, I believe. I know Chris really likes it from the Reading Roads, and I'm really looking forward to reading this. The next book is also on the Kindle, and that is a short story called The Machine Stops by E.M. Foster. Now, I'm reading this book, and indeed the next book, for my SFF reading project, which is an ongoing thing of mine throughout 2015. I'm reading it as part of a buddy read, so if you'd like to read it and talk about it, then let me know. You can download this for free from the Goodreads website itself, which I've actually done. I've got it waiting for me. And finally, the last books I'm going to be reading in January is Tolkien, quite simply. Lord of the Rings, the entire trilogy, and The Hobbit. I've been meaning to read these for ages, and I haven't got around to it. So now I'm finally going to read them, and I'm really looking forward to them. So that's pretty much it for this video. If you've read any of the same books as me, or you would like to read any of them, let me know, and we can talk about them on Twitter or on Goodreads. And that's it for this video. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you another day. Bye for now.